This is our next piece, was how empires fall, and it's a small piece, but again, it's how history repeats itself. A migrant caravan heading north to the US from Central America is further evidence that the old world is dying and a new struggles to be born. There is much the ancient world can teach us, and one of its most salient lessons is that mass migration, which is the product of conflict, societal collapse and or extreme poverty, all of which was created, is capable of destroying the most powerful of empires. Consider Rome, whose legions bestrode the ancient world like a colossus for 1,000 years, and whose great and cruel and most illustrious names of Caesar, Pompey, Augustus, Nero, Hadrian, Vespasian, Constantine et al. Still induce awe and wonder despite the passage of a millennia. And yet at its height, it would have been the very peak of insanity to claim that an empire that stretched from the Italian peninsula all the way across Western Europe and down into North Africa and the Middle East could possibly be erased from the pages of history. And yet erased it was in 476 AD. What was then known as the Western Roman Empire was brought to its knees after successive barbarian invasions made up of Germanic tribes finally succeeded in penetrating the borders of the empire, leading ultimately to its demise. The symbols of Roman power, the imperial vestments, diadem and purple cloak, were sent to Constantinople, which is now Istanbul, which was formerly known as Jerusalem, the seat of power of the eastern half of the empire at that time. But what it did, it brought the curtain down on 100 years of history, confirming that no empire, regardless of its economic and military might, lasts in perpetuity. In truth, Rome's demise had been a long time coming. The contradictions of an empire run on the basis of slavery, tribute, which is America's been doing to the Crown of England, called income tax, and plunder was so great it was inevitable they would become insurmountable. Under Rome's rule, millions lived in poverty and squalor, supporting an elite whose wealth and ostentation was so obscene it became increasingly untenable. See how history repeats when you don't correct. They never thought that Rome would be taken down. It just got replaced with another. It always has. What we're trying to do with this one is replace it with people power, not elite power. They've failed in everything.